What's going on, guys? Today is September 23rd, 2025. Back today with another workshop. Today, we're going to be talking about learning to let go as a musician, creative, whatever you do. It could even be, in your life in general. The power of learning to let go, why that's so important, something that I think everybody has to kind of learn how to do at any given time. As far as, creatively goes, I think for me, the journey of learning to let go has really come in the last probably 4 or 5 years. Ever since I really started to focus on myself and like putting out my own music and things like that, I think part of the learning to let go for me was learning to let go of the initial dream that I had of just producing for other people, just producing for artists and doing kind of, I guess, the typical producer thing where I just chase placements, things like that. And then I kind of realized, around 2019, 2020, that I would be better served kind of shifting it toward myself, focusing on releasing music, obviously still producing for other people, but kind of building my own thing, my own brand, my own identity, and my own sound by releasing different things on my own. So I think learning to let go for me has meant that, and it's really been a freeing thing as well, just being able to do that and shift toward, that putting that focus on myself, and I've seen a lot of great things come from that. And then as far as, during the process of creating, I think just I don't know, I don't really struggle with like releasing music. I know for a lot of people sometimes you got to learn to let go of the songs you're holding on to, the songs that you haven't put out that are kind of just sitting on your hard drive. Luckily, I think for me, I've been able to learn the importance of releasing music and putting it out there when I make it. I don't like to hold on to things, so I think I've always had that part figured out. I think it's just been more about the journey itself, like learning to grow, shift my mindset, and just learn things along the way has been a huge part of my creative journey in general. So today we're going to be kind of going over that a little bit, but with some other things included. The article that I chose today is from guitarhabits.com, and it is written by a guy named Klaus Crow. This came out in 2019. It's called The Art of Letting Go in Life and Musicianship. So we're going to go over this article. There's also two more that will be in the description of the video, one by Reverb Nation, the other by Disc Makers. This one, to me, best kind of embodies what I'm going for with today's topic. The other two are really great, but they kind of cover some different things, some different aspects, which I will talk about at the end. But let's get into this one. This one shouldn't take too long. It's not a very long article, but I liked the points that Klaus was touching on in this one. It says, I love being lazy and relaxed, but I'm also a passionate and productive dude. It's the yin and yang. But in a society where productivity is at the top of the list, we need to be aware and careful that we don't live just productive lives. We need to leave more than enough room for the things that matter most. When you let go of things, you'll come to the essence of what is truly important. And the more you learn to let go, the more you realize why and what that is. Life becomes more joyful, appreciative, pleasant, and a lot easier. Wonderful things will show up and happen just because you allow it to. Try it and experience it yourself. Discover the amazing world in the art of letting go. Here are the keys. Number 1, let go of business and the constant urge to be productive and ambitious. See things on a larger scale and be able to turn off your productive mind now and then. Realize it's not the essence of your existence. It's okay to be productive, but don't let it get to you on a train without brakes. Choose to let go of frustration, stress, shallow, narrow-mindedness. Things you think you need or must do that is all just created in the mind. Stop wasting your energy worrying about the future and what is coming next. What if this? What if that? Choose to embrace uncertainty, enjoy freedom, free time, and music and life now. So obviously, again, this is something that these are things in general we all deal with. For me, I've been dealing with that a lot, especially recently, kind of just trying to fill the time with anything productive. And then I have to kind of sit myself down and remind myself that it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to have some time to myself at the end of the day, especially when I've been making content all day or been on calls, sending emails, that sort of thing. You got to take some time to have to yourself and do something that has nothing to do with music or business or anything like that. So I definitely can relate to that. And I know some of you guys probably can as well. And then again, yeah, looking too far ahead, just kind of being hyper fixated on what the future holds, but we kind of miss out on the present. And I always think about if anyone is a sports fan, The Last Dance, which was about the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s. It was like an E60 thing, came out during the pandemic. There was an episode about that, and they were talking about Michael Jordan. And I forget who it was, but they said, Michael Jordan, the reason why he was so great is because he never looked at the past and he never looked at the future. He was always just in the present moment. And that stuck with me. Like, I've thought about that a lot in the last few years. That's like the most memorable part of that whole documentary for me was that quote of like, the most successful people are just focused on today. They're focused on right now. They obviously do like planning, a little bit, but they're not focused on what's coming or what they already accomplished. They're just focused on today. And yeah, again, that kind of stuck with me. And that's something to really think about in all aspects as well. So that's definitely something that we can all kind of take note of. Number 2 is let go of control. Let go of wanting things to go your way. Don't be rigid. Instead, let things evolve in a natural way and flow with it. Be flexible. Life happens and things don't always go as planned. Embrace the change, spontaneity, and let the path lead you to where it wants to go. Open your eyes, pick up the signs, and see what new things life has to offer. The universe moves in mysterious ways. Let it guide you and enjoy the journey. And then it has a quote from Lao Tzu, and it says, "Be like water. Water is fluid, soft, and yielding. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft, and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard." Which I think we can all kind of get what that means. It's just saying, be open to what life has to offer for you specifically, because life isn't going to give everybody the same cards from start to finish. Everybody's cards are different. Everybody's situation is slightly different as well. So just being able to embrace what is next for you is a big thing, and that's definitely something I've been learning a lot recently as well. Kind of transitioning to a new chapter of my life and my creative journey. I've just had to kind of realize that, it's better to, again, you can kind of plan ahead, but don't plan too much because you are bound to get disappointed if it doesn't go your way. So just kind of keep in mind of the trajectory and where you want to head and have goals, but also understand that how it looks in your mind is never how it's going to play out in real life. But a lot of the times, honestly, it plays out how it should for you, and it plays out in a better situation compared to what you initially thought it was going to be. So just try to limit expectations, I think goes into that a lot. Next up, we have let go of your ego. Lose the urge to prove yourself, the need of social status, to be on top or to be right. Escape the narrow-minded prison of the ego. Stop trying to compete or compare. Instead, improve yourself to serve others. Try to connect, unite, and inspire. Realize we are all from the same energy source. The more you give, the more you will give back. Learn to give without expectations, and life will reveal its most beautiful treasures. That is obviously something that a lot of people, especially musicians, I think, struggle with. The kind of being in the rat race, and a lot of it is the culture that is created, like the hustle culture that's created around us. I've said before, I think that is very toxic. I think it is it's very much in the capitalistic mindset of, being here. If you're in the United States, especially, it's the mindset of capitalism and you got to hustle every single day and yada, yada, yada. I think it's all bullshit. Personally, I think that, especially as a creative, you're really on your own path and your own journey. So you need to figure out how to be hyper fixated on what you need to do to move things forward and stop always looking at what other people are doing. I think the only time that you need to be looking at what other people are doing is to take inspiration, apply it to what you're doing, and then do your own thing. Um, People get caught up in what they think other people's lives are. And 9 times out of 10, you're seeing one little fragment of a person's life. It's not really their whole life. It's not really what they go through on a daily basis. So just kind of realize a lot of this stuff is smoke and mirrors, and a lot of it is just toxic hustle culture, and none of it is good for your health at the end of the day. You got to find a way to get through that. A lot of that is, again, trying to figure out what to focus on, and focusing your energy in the right places is something that I think can go a long way. Let go of rushing, hurrying, and haste. Learn to slow down. Be calm in doing and thinking. Don't let the busy outside world take hold of you. Just observe from a distance, be amazed, and choose to be calm. Take your time for things. Avoid doing too much in too little time. Instead, enjoy doing less with more time. Give up the unimportant things and concentrate on just a few essentials. Slowing down will make your head clearer. You will be more focused and have peace of mind. I think a big thing that a lot of creatives get into is thinking that they got to get things done like in a certain amount of time or a deadline. I think the funny part is, a lot of us, if we're not signed, especially if we're independent artists and we kind of do our own thing, we don't really have deadlines. We kind of make our own deadlines in our mind, and we freak out if we can't reach them because we think that someone's going to care. Most of the times people don't even know that we've created these deadlines in our head. And it's funny because like we've just beat ourselves up about it. I've done it plenty of times where I'm like, I want to get it done by this time. And then it doesn't happen, and then I'm kind of upset. But again, it kind of goes into the previous point about life isn't going to be the roadmap that you want it to be. Life is going to do its own thing, and you're just kind of operating around that type of energy. So you have to be okay with just saying, if I got to push this back, I can do that. It's not the end of the world. We can keep working on this thing. We can keep trying to perfect it, whatever you want to do. And then we'll get it. We'll get there eventually. You know what I mean? As long as you are every single day kind of putting in a little bit of work on that, whatever that is, you'll be fine at the end of the day. You're not just gonna quit and stop working on it unless you decide that's what you want to do. But if you want to, make it and see it through, it might take more time than you initially thought it was going to take. But again, goes back to don't set expectations, be flexible. It all kind of plays together. So huge points right there. This one is a big one. It is let go of fear. Everything in life is possible if you decide to let go of your fears. We usually fear the unknown, so you need to get comfortable with embracing the unknown. Just breathe, be calm, and realize that the what if situations and the mind's going wild scenarios will hardly ever occur. Once your imagination is on a roll, it doesn't like to stop. The solution to this is to start living in the now, which again, that's what I talked about with living in the present, as opposed to focusing on what's ahead and what's behind you. You are here now, and there's no future and no past. Focus on now and ignore everything else. Now there is no danger, you're alive and in the present. So just live here and continue your way. The alternative is to be afraid and do it anyway. The more you do this, the more fear will lose its power over you. I can tell you from personal experience, I've done a ton of things that I have been scared out of my mind about. Even doing something like this, like talking on camera, that used to be a big thing for me where I just had no confidence, didn't want to do it, didn't really understand, the need to do it, and I was kind of neglecting my own voice too. But again, if you just go right in, dive right in and see how it goes, the worst thing that happens is it doesn't go well, and then you just say, you know what, I tried. But again, all this stuff plays into, it all connects. So just being able to set that fear aside, and even today, I'm still doing that a ton. I'm trying to do that more, is just put myself in those uncomfortable situations, or maybe do those things that I was always putting off, or for the last few years, if it was something that I thought I could do, but then I kind of talked myself out of it. Now I'm realizing the importance of doing those things that I was initially scared of, or maybe I'm still scared of them to an extent as well. Just being able to do those things and just see how it goes. And again, the worst thing that can happen is if it goes poorly, I say, I tried, I did that thing, didn't work, let's try this other thing. That's the worst that can happen in, all these different scenarios. The next one is what we touched on last week, which was the negative mindset. Letting go of negativity. The nasty thing about a negative thought is when it slips into your mind, soon another one follows, and another one, and another one. You need to realize there is no benefit whatsoever in thinking like this. This is you doing it to yourself, so just stop. Think of it as a chain of negative thought patterns, and then decide to break that chain and drop it into a barrel of acid, a deep ocean, or just let the thoughts move by like a cloud. Whatever works for you. Be aware of negative thoughts when they pop up and tell them you're not home. If they won't leave, drop them. Now pick a thought that makes you feel good, a thought that lifts your spirit and creates a new chain of positive thought patterns. Create a happy island for yourself and dwell on it. There's really no there's no reality, there's only perception. And again, that is something that I've been really trying to get myself deeply rooted in, is how big perspective really is. Perspective is, I want to say it's everything. It's a lot of this stuff, is just the way you look at things, and changing your perspective to that of a positive one goes such a long way. And that's something that I have lived in real time in many different ways over the last, I'd say the last 10 years since I've been doing it. Those things are all vital. So again, this article, that was pretty much it right there. But it keeps everything in an easy to understand way, but it shows you how all these things really are connected. It's all like a big web of being able to shift your mindset to being more productive, and these things will definitely help you to be more productive. And they're all things that I've been able to get to on my own, and things that I'm still learning as well every single day, and things you got to keep reminding yourself, because like it says, life is not just gonna always be great, and there's definitely going to be roadblocks and trials that you have to overcome. But if you can keep these things in mind, it'll kind of give you an easier way through all that stuff. So again, that one is by Guitar Habits. The other two which again, by Reverb Nation, that one is called How Letting Go of Control Helps You Make Better Music. So that one is probably more dictated toward the creative side specifically. And then Discmaker's article is called The Value of Taking a Break from Music, which is a little bit different. That one's more of like, you've been grinding nonstop on your creative works. Here's how you can take a break for a bit, whether it's like a month or a year or a day, whatever it might be, whatever you decide to do. It shows you kind of the importance of taking breaks in the action and what that can do for you, how that can replenish what you're doing moving forward. So 3 different ones that cover kind of different points, but I think the one we just went over was mostly in line with what I had in mind today. So that is pretty much all I have for you guys. This was a nice little one to kind of, get people moving. We're basically at the end of the 3rd quarter of this year. We're heading into the final 3 months. And I think there's just a lot of potential for moving into a new type of energy here in the last few months and into 2026 as well. Like I said, I'm doing it myself, and I hope that you guys can get there as well and just take notes of this stuff and apply it to your own situation. Next week, actually not next week, I think in 2 weeks, we're going to be back again on October 7th. And I'm going to be talking about headphones. I've got my headphones right here, actually. Audio-Technica. These are great, by the way. So I'll probably talk about these, and I'll probably talk about some different brands and companies that are trusted, where you can get headphones that are, pro audio quality. Kind of the differences between headphones for casual listeners and headphones for creatives, because there is a big difference there. And something that, I kind of had to learn when I got into producing. So we'll go over some of the brands and maybe some suggestions. We haven't really done one like that in a while, so that'll be cool. But enjoy the next couple weeks until then. As always, stay safe, stay positive, and thank you guys once again for watching. So we'll see you next time.